Our first session together was hard. Unfortunately, I can't say this was all due to Limra. I have to admit, I was nervous about actually starting this project. It's been a dream for several years now, and that first step into making it reality felt very intimidating, especially as I closed that round pen gate. From the start of the session, Limra was showing only signs of stress. There was tension throughout her whole body. She was constantly snorting and had no interest in having a conversation with me. She would run forward for stints with her tail in the air and then stop and look for a way out of the round pen. She really wanted nothing to do with me. I was several minutes into the training session before she even turned towards me, just for a brief second before continuing running away. This is the first moment in the session where I was able to successfully catch her eye and get her to curve towards me. And it was also a good moment because even though she gets distracted here, I was able to catch her eye yet again and keep her curving towards me and interacting with me so that I could complete my first approximation of a circle and go and spend some time rubbing on her shoulder. I think for the majority of this session, neither Limra nor myself were actually in the round pen. I mean, we were physically in the round pen, but not emotionally. Limra was always looking outside of the pen as she could, trying to find her buddy, her friend. And I was struggling having the camera pointed at me all the time, and I was nervous. And I think we were both lacking a lot of presence in our interactions. So although we were able to connect at moments, it was challenging. I made several mistakes this first session, and I think there are two in particular that I want to mention. First, I didn't establish enough forward flow. Although I did get her to move, I was a bit thrown off by how confident she was towards the whips, even though she was so insecure as a whole. And I would crack them and bring my energy up, but she wasn't truly thinking forward when I would ask her to move, and I should have applied more energy modulation and sensitized her more systematically to the driving energy, to my energy and the whips. And second, realizing her mental state and my own mental state, I should have transitioned sooner to lowering my expectations. I was really looking for full circles around me, and I should have adjusted and accepted catching the eye or half circles. And I really should have just stuck to that principle: expect a lot, accept a little. Lack of this principle caused the session to be much longer than it should have been, in my opinion. That said and done, I did manage to accomplish some good things this first session. I did ultimately manage to catch the eye in both directions and achieve full circles in each direction, or approximations of full circles. This was in spite of her really preferring to draw to the out gate instead of to me, especially when circling right. I did figure out that she loves to be scratched, and even when stressed, she would show just signs of appreciation whenever I would offer them. And I think that was really important to us starting to connect. I did manage to become more present throughout the session, and I started to recognize how my own nerves and emotions about this project were impacting my training. I really love how horses have a way of deconstructing our ego, and I had to laugh at myself a bit when toward the end of the session she lay down and rolled. It was at that moment I really let go of my expectations. I smiled at Terrell, who was behind the camera, and realized that this process will be what it'll be. Shortly after she rolled, I ended the session by catching the eye on the right and getting her to do a more fluid curve in and starting to come around me, and then just rubbing her on the shoulder and ending on that positive note. For the second session, I took everything I learned in the first session and vowed to myself that I would not make the same mistakes again. Right from the start, I was able to obtain more fluid forward movement, and I think that was really important. I was also much clearer on my goals when I entered the round pen. I started on the left side and got her to draw and encircle me. This took several tries, but I was patient and I let her explore her options. I always let her leave and just controlled the direction and added energy once she was at the edge of the round pen. This was a really special moment in this session because I got her to draw around me fluidly in a circle to the left after catching the eye. I had to angle my body away to have a softer energy. And then I successfully spent a really quiet moment with her. I was able to offer her my calm, spent some time scratching her withers where she likes to be scratched and on the neck, and really just rest in that moment with the horse. And I think that was really important because then when I went to ask for a circle, as opposed to running away for the first time, she stayed with me after that rest. And we managed to complete a full circle to the left without her drifting off. And after that circle, you can see that she's even thinking here about returning some of my scratches, some mutual grooming. She's sniffing me, she's exploring me. And you can see that by really leaning into that moment, I'm building more connection. So the right side was more challenging, like it was in the first session, but I was able to catch the eye and draw her in and have her come around me. And I wasn't sure if I was going to achieve this session, but as I did to the left, I was able to draw in, spend some quality time with her, and at the very end of the session, I was able to have her move from that space into a circle around me and back into that space of relaxation without losing her. So that was a really great way to end our second session together.